I grew up in Monterey Park, California, just east of downtown Los Angeles. And what I loved the most about living in LA County was its diversity. So for the Black Legacy Project in Los Angeles, we wanted community members to explore how these stereotypes and portrayals of Black folks affect how we're perceived and treated in the United States. The Black Legacy Project is a musical celebration of Black history to advance racial solidarity, equity, and belonging.
As it travels the country, the Black LP brings together Black and white artists and artists of all backgrounds to record present-day interpretations of songs central to the Black American experience and to compose originals relevant to the pressing calls for change of our time.
Community roundtable discussions in integrated and affinity groups help inform how these songs are interpreted and written.
This is the Black Legacy Project.
Six days of rioting in a Negro section of Los Angeles left behind scenes reminiscent of war-torn cities. More than 100 square blocks were decimated by fire and looters, and few buildings were left intact. Hands up high.
What inspired the theme, American Skin, for the Black Legacy Project in Los Angeles were the historical events around race relations in Los Angeles that really speak to the whole theme of having one's lived experiences, especially the lived experiences of Black Americans, being influenced by how they are perceived. The practice of redlining and the creation of racial covenants to prevent Black folks from living in certain neighborhoods, which happened in the early 20th century. The Watts riots that happened in the 60s, or active police brutality that happened against Rodney King.
The 4 LAPD officers in the Rodney King beating case found not guilty on all counts except one. That announcement set off a firestorm of uncontrolled riots and violence that is still going on tonight. Angry demonstrators went on a rampage, taking control.
So Music in Common is a nonprofit organization. We are in our 18th year, and our mission is to strengthen, empower, and connect communities through the universal language of music. And we do that through a pretty simple formula of providing platforms for people to discover their common ground, often bringing diverse communities together or at times communities in conflict. And we do that through facilitated discussion like we're having this evening, and collaborative songwriting, multimedia, and performance. So Southern California is particularly meaningful because I started the organization in response to the murder of my friend Daniel Pearl. Danny grew up here in Southern California in Encino. When I think about the Black Legacy Project and why we started it, a lot of the same sort of through lines and common denominators to why we started Music in Common are the same in response to horrific killings and murders, and trying to find ways to combat the hate.
How can we bring what we do in music to the context of race relations in the U.S. and help us build greater belonging and equity and solidarity? And that was the inspiration for the Black Legacy Project.
We choose a theme that's got a direct connection to the local community. And the theme for here in Southern California is American Skin. And what that theme means or embodies is examining how the color of one's skin might impact their lived experience here in the United States.
The names of the streets are household words translated into magic. The city itself has been built out of the rich epics that all of us know. You'll find streets here where the sidewalks are paved with glittering stars, because this crazy crucible of a town is what the sign says.
The very first feature-length film, The Birth of a Nation, was filmed in the San Gabriel Valley, just outside of LA. That film was used to spark fear around the liberation of Black Americans. The stereotypes that dehumanize, like the coon stereotype that portrayed Black folks as lazy, unintelligent, and incapable of having a sense of power and agency. And stereotypes like the buck or brute, which vilify Black folks, especially Black men, as savage, dangerous, animals that are threats to society.
The constant correlation through media showing everybody in society that Black is correlated with bad is just like...
And white is correlated with good.
Exactly, the white
right?
hero in movies. I think it's just perpetuating the same mindset and struggle to get out of it. Because I genuinely think the majority of people are good. We just don't understand everyone else. When I was a kid, I didn't know I was Black until I moved to the South. I didn't realize that my skin color had so much weight to it. And I've gone through things to where I realized that everyone in this country is not living the same life. Yeah, we're all the same at the core, but it's completely different.
When you're subjected to these images, people sometimes don't take the time to get to know. It really impacts how they treat other people.
Society's so divided in terms along racial lines, that it seems to me that we're like, the way we live our lives, the way we experience our lives is vastly impacted by this crazy thing, the colour of our skins.
And the problem now is that we've pushed the conversation of diversity so far that we're actually bound to stereotypes. In the I don't want to say wrong, but the inverse way of saying we're battling stereotypes by saying there are no stereotypes. We are all, quote unquote, good people, or you are all the best of what we want you to be, and not accepting you for who you could be or who you actually are.
I think without a doubt that the color of my skin is definitely affecting my lived experience. Just on a day-to-day basis. I'm from the South, so even more so on a day-to-day basis. And the thing that was cool about the roundtable is we were able to get people from all forms of life and just have a genuine conversation.
There's just such a drastic difference between the experience of a white person and the experience of a Black person. Black people are fearful for their lives, their families' lives, their loved ones' lives, just existing.
And we're able to lend our voices in solidarity with each other. That's an essential part of making change.
I'm a huge fan of what music can do to bring people together and break down those barriers.
To have community members in Southern California explore the theme of American skin, we selected the song American Skin, or 41 Shots, a song that was written by Bruce Springsteen to honor the life of Amadou Diallo, a 23-year-old unarmed Black man who was shot and killed by 4 white police officers in plain clothes in New York City.
And the badass line in here is, we're baptized in these waters and in each other's blood. That's just a cold line. That's a cold line to say in the song. So I really appreciate this song and where he was coming from.
When he did this song, it was a concert in New York. The New York Police Department walked out of the concert because he played this song. So no, he stand up. I mean, he's making money, but he knew what he was writing. He knew the ramifications of writing a song like this, especially at the time. And I remember when the dude got shot 41 times and they were acquitted. I mean, it was effed up. And go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
Go ahead.
And just really adding to your point, not only did officers walk out, but officers wrote statements, published statements to do not listen to Bruce Springsteen's music. Then the other song that we chose was Sweeter, which was written by Leon Bridges. Leon wrote this song not just to honor the life of George Floyd, but the experience of fear that he carries being a Black man in America, the fear of how his life could be cut short or ended.
And the story repeats itself, and so how do you interrupt the story? And so that's the line that keeps coming back to me. I'm just a story repeating.
I thought we moved on from the darker days. Well, are they darker? If they're darker, if this is going on better days, then they're... Do you understand what I'm saying?
I thought we moved on from the dark days, would make sense.
But that's the ambivalence in the whole song. He still has hope. He's hoping we have come past that, except that it just keeps repeating. It hasn't gotten better. But there's still that kernel of hope for whatever reason that it has or will be. It's just being dangled in front of him, that this kind of myth that we are a colorblind society or whatever that people insist on.
I think we connect in a lot of ways that go beyond just music. Yeah, I think the roundtable really helped me feel more comfortable with people, because it's like, well, we already got a lot of the tough conversations out of the way, So now it's like we can refer back to these themes that we talked about and address things that were already discussed. And, we all were there. We all went through that experience together, and we know how to further those conversations and turn them into music.
You can feel, you can not feel like you are necessarily responsible for something that happened 150 years ago, but you are responsible for its impact and effects that are still here today, right?
The morning after the roundtable, we meet with the musical co-directors to begin the interpretation process, fresh with the roundtable discussion in their minds.
The task at hand is, as best as possible, to have a completed version of the song you're interpreting, so that tomorrow can be dedicated to the four of you writing one song together. And I want to also just again encourage you to feel no musical boundary in terms of you do what you want. I'm just saying you have complete creative freedom there.
It does this little cool thing. It's like a little line on top. We can kind of reference that.
Okay, I'm like, what if we go like a real slow down,
Okay.
and just make it like put the accents on different beats.
Okay.
I don't know.
When I think about a song like this, it resonates, and I try not to even think about this scenario. I have two Black sons, and my fear when they were younger, this big, was, oh my goodness, one day they're going to be able to drive, and my heart's just going to be driving around in some big machine, and I was concerned that they might get in a car accident. But then as they got older and they were getting stopped just while walking in the neighborhood, I realized, oh my God, my fear is not that they get in an accident. My fear is this thing, right?
I feel like with any song, you want to convey a message, and you basically want to communicate, and you basically want to make people feel something.
1, 2, 3, go. Fear was the big thing that came up in the roundtable discussion, and the people, white people that fear black people, their lives get smaller because of this fear. So we're all impacted by it, by the colour of our skin, and not always in ways that you would expect.
What's good, Jason? How you doing?
Oh, I'm okay.
All right. That's good, Joe.
Good morning. About to get it in.
Getting the MTV
Felice is
vibes
upstairs.
going.
We can get going.
All right,
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to be mindful of her. Well, just to teach it through. How do you build a world in which the color of your skin does not actually impact or negatively impact your lived experience, right? How do you take these two songs that we've just reimagined, which are pretty, heavy.
Heavy songs.
Yeah, how do you build a world where songs like that, there's no need for them to exist?
what are actually like tangible steps that you can offer in the lyric, or a tangible step? And I'm gonna like encourage you to really lean into the conversation the other night and some of the things you heard.
One of the themes was fear. You know what I'm saying?
Like, some things unite you and I, and they don't unite you and I. And so, because we're all individuals, but the fear thing was really strong. And it's clearly a massive issue here in the States. And it just seems to me we have to find ways to, make a more level playing field. And the only way I know how to do that is through music. We collaborate all the time, so.
Minor.
Yeah, minor.
And then when we go to the chorus, we'll go to the E major like.
E minor night. It just seems like a chance to try and right some wrongs and get to know some people better. And the E. And again, right, but the second time, this next time.
Sit on the E. From A to F sharp minor, and then we sat on E.
And then sit on E again. And then you can go back to your.
Yeah, I was worried. What? I don't know these people. I was definitely worried. I was just like, okay, me and David knocked that out. That was cool. But now we have to write something, which is completely different. And as a musician, it's like, I'm not going to write anything that I don't believe in. I'm not going to perform anything that I don't believe in. So we have to make sure we're all having the common belief that we all agree in the same things and how we want to say it, and then we can put it out. It was a lot, but we did it, and it was a really cool process to go through.
We don't know.
You like that?
3 shows.
3 snaps, 3 shows.
Yes.
Well, we're up to 32 tickets already.
All right.
It's really important for the project to be embedded in the community. So we like to find local partners, local businesses, local organizations that we can collaborate with.
Bare like this, but when I add the harmonies, it sounds really nice. But I don't want to do it because the lyrics are the main focus.
The first verse, don't do
straight.
It straight.
Yeah. That's what I figured.
No dips, no up, just clean.
Is it a gun? Is it a knife? Is it a wallet? This is your life. It ain't no secret. It ain't no secret. No secret, my friend. You can get killed just for living in your American skin.
So I think it's important to make sure we're including ways that we can help and change and leave an impact. peace with those judging eyes.
I think music has a particular place and different meanings for different occasions. Sometimes it's party, 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 and sometimes it's fight, and sometimes it's, let's get together and make this happen. Quick 4, 1, 2, 3.
We need to try to communicate. Don't need another hashtag that only separates. We have the power to change our fate. This world is ours. Gonna get better. I know it's hard. Gonna get better. For every soul, we have control. In this together. Let down your guard. Gonna get better. Gonna get better. We're all a part of the human race. It's who we are.
I will text you if that's
Okay.
See you tomorrow.
Enjoy your night.
Yes.
Be safe. We'll see you tomorrow. Good job today.
Thanks, man. Yeah, you too. You guys are tremendous.
You've missed Pickles, my love.
Oh.
That's his dog.
Yeah, you guys are wonderful. Very nice, generous, brilliant, so fun.
Can I have one of those persimmons?
We got that.
Of course.
Yeah,
They're there. They've been waiting for you.
Apropos of what was that exactly?
Being on the road has put the project into full perspective for me. I was able to be here in the communities with the musicians, with music co-directors, the partners that I've been emailing with back and forth, and just to see the process of the project in action and to really be a part of it.
If we can connect musicians to one another who have this shared experience, who I think they will not only make great music together, I think they will make music with a purpose and sort of a mission.
It's the universal language. So once we got in there and we started working, it was pretty much clockwork. It pretty much came together pretty good. And that's a good job to the music and common staff to, pick people that have good vibes and good energy. So we was able to come into the room and make it happen. The best thing that came out of this, I feel like I have 4 new collaborators that I can call for anything that I want to call, any gig or whatever. Any studio session, and we created like a real bond. So that was a cool thing for me.
The primary objective every time we do it is so that it's not just like this amazing 2-hour experience or this amazing 1-week experience, but that it plants the seed and inspires those who are participating in it.
From experiencing the power of using music as a tool and facilitated dialogue with it, to build bridges between people across backgrounds.